Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Beyond the Case, which is a podcast where global leaders from the Harvard Business School's OPM program join in a personal capacity and they share the real decisions, the failures, the mental models that go behind building enduring companies. We have a very special guest today. It's Rafael Sierra. How are you, Rafael? Glad to have you here.
Thank you, Sophie. Very, very happy to be here. Very excited to share and participate in your podcast, which is a wonderful thing you're doing for the OPM program. Thank you.
Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us about who you are, what you do.
I'm Rafael. Most of the people call me Rafa, which is a short, easy to remember. I live in Mexico. We are a company that was founded in Mexico 15 years ago. I am a father for Rebecca and Federico, and my wife is Telma. So we're a family of four.
How did you start EPSA Mexico? Was that your idea, and what inspired you start the company?
EPSA is founded on a concept of industrial automation, but it is a little different, a little niche area where we automate powders. When you think of powders, when we go to the store or to a market, we normally don't buy a lot of powders. But if you think most of the products we use on a daily basis, like food, chemicals, paint, steel, textile, glass, all that is made from powders. Powders play a very, very major role in everyone's life. It has been transformed to something else, but everything starts with a powder. The automation of powders is what we started, and there's something really unique about that engineering schools, they don't teach us much about powders. They do teach us about handling gases and liquids, but not powders. And in the American continent, there's only two schools in USA that teach us about that. So there's a lot of opportunity to do powder automation. And when the crisis end of 2008 started, a lot of the Mexico companies that were used to purchasing very capital equipment with European or American firms, they didn't have the big budgets to spend because we were in a crisis, and it started affecting Mexico in 2009. Early 2010, with these many customers were trying to invest, but were trying to look for additional alternatives. We said this is a good chance to start that, and we started having distributor brands from USA, smaller companies than the usual, and it started to grow in a very dynamic way in Mexico. We started on two basics. We started really on a crisis. We saw that opportunity on a crisis combined with a technological knowledge to handle the powers in the industry.
How old were you when you started this company?
I was 34.
34.
I was 34. Was already father of two at that time. Our daughter was about 4 years, our youngest daughter. It was easier at that time because, when your sons and daughters are already in college or something, you might think twice things because expenses are much higher at those points, right? But when your son and daughters are small, you can move them around easily. You can do changes in your life easily.
What do you think was one of the biggest challenges you faced in your early days when you were starting the company?
The biggest challenge we had is related to human resources. Basically, the hiring process was, do you have a pulse? Then you're hired. Because it's not that you hire someone to work with you, is that people choose to go work with you at that time because they believe in your project and they believe in what you're telling them can become a truth in the future, because there's not much that you can offer them. There's not a career development at that time. So that was one of the biggest challenge, trying to make a mix of good quality personnel that will be willing to accept a challenge rather to go work to a big organization when we were just starting.
And as your business grew, I'm guessing you had moments of pressure as well and a lot of changes going on. How do you keep your team aligned when you're going through such a journey where there could be a lot of pressure?
The alignment comes. I have a lot of belief in the personal touch. We try to continue to be as a group together in person. Some of our peers are not in the same offices, but we have a few that are home office, remote. But we try to do daily meetings in every department where we continue the human touch, and we have purpose. Our purpose is to improve the quality of the operator in the plant in terms of health, safety, and comfort. We try to share every good news that we have with the team, and we most of the times are able to relate it to our purpose as a group, as a company. And when difficult times comes, which is almost every week, we try to group the leaders and how we can use our purpose as a group to solve that problem. And if it's not aligned with our group purpose, with our organization purpose, we will normally send that to a different priority. It releases the stress out of the group that is having that problem. We use a lot the purpose on that regard.
What has been one of the scariest decisions you've ever had to make as a founder?
Well, 2000 and late 2019, that was the time when the COVID era came. One of the things we started having issues with was with sourcing machinery from USA. A lot of manufacturers in USA started having issues, and at the same time, so him was one of the biggest market demands we had in Mexico, because as we're staying home for home office for COVID, everybody's trying to fill up their groceries, and the food manufacturers starting expanding. We had a lot of demand of machinery for expansion, but at the same time we had a lack of fulfill from our manufacturers outside Mexico. We decided we one of our scenarios was to become a manufacturer, because at that point we were distributors, and that business model had been working for already 10 years with a lot of success. So it didn't make a lot of sense to change it, right? Because it was working really good and it was growing. At that point, we started exploring what will happen if we became a manufacturer. And I'm part of this EO organization, an entrepreneurs organization. I went to my forum and I shared this deep dive with them on I have this issue. My forum team really pushed me and challenged me. If you're not doing it right now, you'll never do it. That was about June when we were first thinking about it. November that same year, November the 20th, we were installing the first machinery with one of our customers made in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we expanded and we got a bigger a bigger team to work on the manufacturing part. Now we are the second company in Mexico that export this machinery to USA. So it's not only that we became a manufacturer for Mexico, but now we are also serving a part of the US market. It turned out really good, but was one of the biggest challenges because we didn't have any experience on manufacturing. But it so far became good with a good group of people that were knowledgeable on that area.
Yeah, every challenge is an opportunity, and I'm glad you spoke about this, how you converted the testing period in 2019 and 20 into one of the biggest opportunities for you.
Yes,
You spoke about Entrepreneurs Organization EO. Can you talk a little bit about your journey with EO and how that's shaped your profession?
is entrepreneurs organizations, a worldwide organization. I got invited to about 7 years ago. I just came in, and about 2 months after that, one of the guys that joined EO almost at the same time I did calls me, and he says, "Hey, Rafa, would you join the board?" And I tell him, "Well, I'm just new on this, but I guess you're joining me. You're joining it. That's why you're inviting me." So yeah, I got invited to join the board, and I want to see if you will be willing to join the board. We started a journey that lasted 4 years. We became very fast active in on EO. That was one of the biggest reasons I love so much this organization, because I made a dive immediately, and was able to find a lot of benefits that if I would not have joined the board at that point, I would just get to know partially of the people and partially of the benefits. But I will highly recommend EO or a similar organization for anyone that's a founder or that is a organization leader, where you can expand all your potential.
What does EO session look like, and how often do you have one? Could you just walk us through what it means to be part of EO and what your experience looks like as a member?
Yes, you have the monthly events where you will go to trainings, or you will have speakers which will talk about from family speeches to organization or personal ways to improve your life. That's one part. The other part will be the leadership, where you can actually become a leader of leaders, which is very different to leading our organization group, where you can actually leader a group of leaders. So that helps out in your style and your ways of. The third one is EO has a lot of benefits with schools. For example, they have a program with Harvard. They have a program with Aspiring, with London School, MIT. And the last one, but for me is the best, is your forum teammates. Your forum will be a group of 5 to 7 or 8 people that you will meet with them on a monthly basis, and you will stay in touch with them for the whole month, but meet in person for one afternoon or one half of day, where you will share what happened in your month. It's not like a report of activities. It will be like the things that you keep to yourself, that you are not able or willing to share easily with other people, because you will feel vulnerable, or you could make somebody nervous if you share them that. That's a space where you're able to share that without being judged.
And can you change this forum membership? And do you have a different one each month, or is it consistent, lifelong? You have the same forum?
It's a consistent one, but you can change throughout time to a different forum. In my case, I've been with my forum almost seven years, but it's a personal decision. You can choose to go to a different forum after a certain period of time, or you can choose to be in multiple forums as well.
Rafa, moving on to operational excellence, given that you've scaled your company so much, could you talk about some systems or habits or principles that you have which have helped develop your company and reach the growth stage it has come to today?
Yes, I will tell you in two parts. The first part is, at some point we were in a survival point, in a survival way, that we were really focused only on efficiency and on KPIs and on getting things done. We grew to a certain extent, but we made a mistake at the beginning, not to put enough attention on the team, on the people. we realized that if we wanted to get to a second stage, we really needed to put more attention on the people side, on the human side. So now, besides all those KPIs that we continue to use, we're trying to put more attention on the human development, and human resources has become an important and strategic part of the organization, where they help us to to permeate our purpose as an organization to all of us, and that you can easier have a sense of belonging. Some of the things we keep that are continue to give us good results are, we tried, well, as an engineering company, as a mechanical engineering solutions and automation, we tend to put everything in numbers. We believe that we can automate the world at some point. Every department has its own KPIs, and we try to live by those. But we have also started to change a little that, and try to see what drives the person to accomplish those KPIs in a personal way. I'm going to tell you a small story of one of our current leaders. When he joined the company, he was negotiating a contract with a customer, good contract. He has been with us probably 2 or 3 months, and he was doing a great job with this negotiation. He gets the contract, and he tells me, "Hey, Rafa, I have a thing that I want to share with you. Is that, well, the customer sent us the contract, but they we were quoting, imagine we were quoting a group of 4 different machines, and we gave them a total price of X. And the customer was thinking the total price was X times 4. So they send the contract of X dollar times 4. And our manager says, I got this contract. The customer is okay with this price, which is 4 times what our real price is. What do we do? So I tell them, hey, this is a good customer. Every customer, we should take care of them. They should trust us. Let's go back with them and tell them, hey, our contract must be 1/4 of the price you're sending us. He does that. The customer is very happy. The customer thinks, "Hey, I thank EPSA because you're doing this very transparent." But what hit me the most is that our manager came back 1 week later and told me, "Rafa, I'm staying here. I want to stay here to do a career the rest of my life, because what we did with that customer gives me the sense that the company is doing the same with every one of the team. So if I had some doubts about if I wanted to make a career here for the rest of my life, that has been erased, and I'm sure I want to stay here the rest of my life." That really struck me on, hey, small things like that, how they can change the path of one person on a professional way.
Talk to us about why you applied to OPM. How did you learn about OPM?
EO has different programs, the top in the world universities. And in 2003, I attended a program for Harvard HBS with through EO. So I attended this program with a group of probably 3 or 4 from Mexico. And as one of our professors says, we were on a intellectual tourism, because it was 4 days on campus, plus a couple of extra days that you're staying there. But you're not deeply into learning. I mean, you want to go out and you want to know around the place. And of course, you are dedicated in class, prepare for the cases. They told us in that program, they made a presentation briefly about OPM. And I said, maybe sometime I'll do it. And so I was thinking to have a like a directive program, training program for some of our team. I said, well, I'm doing planning training for the next year for our full team, all of our uh, leadership team. I'm not getting anything from myself, and so I said I remember about that program. It didn't occur to me that I will be there 2 years after. But I said, well, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be the same if I do it now or 10 years after. And I'm going to enjoy it 10 years more if I do it now. It's not getting any easier. So I applied and I was surprised that I got a good response from HBS. I'm very glad I did it because I have met a lot of good people, which is where the most value comes out from at this point.
Talk to me about a few takeaways you had from the program. Was there any case or any professor or any participant whose interaction stayed with you?
A lot. So he can pull out a list of about 110 activities that I'm putting together in different experiments. And to my surprise, most of the team is excited with those experiments that we're trying. We decided to start by the HR experiments, which have a faster impact on the leadership group. I have a lot of respect and admiration for Das. I think Das is doing a great job and impressing us. He's not teaching us; he's showing us how to learn.
Yes.
The first case I read was friendly fire. Before we made the trip to Cambridge, I read that case and I was just going through a communication crisis in the company. I didn't realize it was a crisis. I just thought it was a problem. I read the case and I said, well, I can relate a lot of what's happening here. Before even going to Cambridge, I got a group of people together in a room and we started talking about this. I tell them about the case even before going to Harvard, and they all related a lot to that. So that was my first experience trying to apply the cases. It was even before going. I think if we try to find a small 1 or 2 paragraphs or 1 or 2 experiences from each case, and in which is try to make the time to apply them or to show them to the rest of the team, is going to make a big difference because it's all about how to make the team better, not only us. I think for us that we are OPM, the biggest benefit comes from meeting and talking to each other, one of us. But for our team, it has to be our time.
Absolutely. Did you take a lot of notes during OPM?
I took a lot of notes on handwriting. I'm still kind of an old school where I would do the handwriting because it makes it easier to um to um to remember for me if I write it down. But a part of that, I have put it together in a nice presentation that I'm going to use actually tomorrow. Tomorrow we have end of the year meeting with all the EPSA group. A lot of people are traveling here to our main office in Monterrey. We have a half a day meeting and then we have a Christmas party, end of the year party after that. In the meeting, everybody, one of the leaders is presenting their yearly results. What I'm presenting this time is a little different. It's a mix of different learnings from the cases, the professors, of course, the teammates that I put together in a 2.5 hour, very interactive process. I'm going to experiment with that, and hopefully it gets people excited.
I know a lot of other people have tried these experiments with their team where they took detailed notes, came back, and gave their own presentation to the team. So this is going to be quite thrilling.
Yes, I'm excited to look at that tomorrow. One of the things that one of our professors says is that we should always make sure that the information is a mirror for everyone involved in a process, we make sure that everybody's looking at the same info, right? That small phrase has helped us the last 2 weeks to solve a lot of issues or communication issues, and the people are feeling comfortable with that. But it might become one of um, my beliefs in life. I mean, for because what if we extract that from business? What if we use this with our wife, with our life partner, with our family, with our friends? I think a lot of friction could be eliminated in the world if we
Absolutely.
use that small thinking that was shared with us. It makes a lot of sense and a lot of wisdom.
How do you start your day every day when you wake up? What are the first 90 minutes looking like?
I normally go to bed early, about 9:30, and so I start my day about 5 or 5:15. When I'm in Mexico City, I start a little earlier, around 5. Mexico City for me is very smooth because I can walk everyone. Different to what everybody thinks in Mexico City, the way I try to configure things there, I can walk to the gym, I can walk to my office, to my condo. I start at 5, and then I go make some exercise. Then I normally will do a little reading and take a shower after the reading, get ready, and read some news. And probably about 7:30, I'm in the about 6 p.m. I'm done. Different to Monterrey. I also try to get up early, but Monterrey doesn't allows me to walk, so I have driving distances. I try
Okay.
to start also with some exercise. Exercise will always gets me excited for the day. My day ends up a little later, maybe at 8 p.m. But I have a coach, a life coach, that gave me a tip on difficult days that I tried to use for from about a year and a half ago. I'm trying to do this every day. Not being able to, but I try. He says the day can be largely difficult. You can encounter different challenges, problems during the day, but we are responsible of how we start our day and how we end our day. What I try to do is always start with a little exercise and reading. At night, I try to end it up with a chat with someone from my family, either my wife, my son, or my daughter. I try to end it with that. Regardless if the day was very difficult, if I can control how I started. So I started on my own, I was reading, and I ended up related to my family, right? So those two
Wonderful.
things have been better to change.
You mentioned you like reading. Has there been any book that you are reading now, or have you read in the past which influenced you a lot?
This is a book that I recommend a lot to friends and colleagues. It's called Clockwork. It's a really easy reading. You can do it in probably 3.5 hours or 4 hours, probably if you go straight forward. But it's a book that changed how I see time. I'm always been a fan of time because you can get any other resource. You can get funding. You can get a team of good leaders. You can get product, customers, market. But time is limited for everybody, every one of us, the same.
Okay. Rafa, if you were to talk to your younger self who was starting out in entrepreneurship today, what would you tell him?
People always tell us about follow your dreams and follow your passion. I will tell them follow what you're good in. If you're good in if you're good in something but it's not your passion, but you're really good at it, sooner than later it will become your passion. That's one thing that I tell my son and daughter. Follow what you're good in rather than your passion, because it will certainly become your passion very good, and it will help you throughout your life.
Amazing. That's beautiful. Thank you, Rafael. I appreciate your time. I'm pretty sure this conversation is going to inspire a lot of people.
Hey, Sokina, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you again. I will definitely ask you to keep in touch later. we should be able to meet before the next OPM.